Good evening, everybody.
What up?
Welcome to Let's Talk Dallas Cowboys here on the Let's Talk Sports Network. My name is Alan. Joining me, as always, from the Bottom Line Sports, it's our man Flo. Flo, how you doing?
I'm good. Our team's rested up. I'm ready to see them play a game off a bye, and ready to let this weekend roll. Some good college games today, but we're talking Dallas Cowboys today.
Yeah, we won't get into college. Let's just not talk about that today.
It wouldn't be a good idea for you today, right?
Not a good idea today.
We won't get into it.
Not a good day indeed.
Or subject.
Speaking of college canteens at the Florida Georgia doing the little tailgate thing for the Florida Georgia game today. He'll be here probably about midway through the episode if we're still on. So,
all right.
Be
careful out there, canteen.
Shout out to Ken and his Georgia Bulldogs handling Florida right now. So, pretty solid team there they got in Georgia nowadays. So
yeah, not too bad, not too shabby.
I mean, top of the class in the SEC. They've been that way the last 3 years now. So,
yeah.
The question will be, can they repeat? But that's a question for another day. This is not a college show. This is an NFL show.
That's what I said at the beginning. I thought
specifically a Cowboy show. And you mentioned it at the top, Flo. They're coming off, or before we came, when you came on the top, that they're coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
Got an extra week of rest, an extra week to prepare for the Rams today. Rams coming off that disappointing loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who for somehow, some way, they're 4-2 in Pittsburgh right now. It's just unreal.
Cowboy cave.
Rams come in at 3-4. They've had some injuries on the back end of their defense. They've had some injuries on the offensive line. Their offensive line has not been, it was kind of their weakness last year. And when, last year when we played them, the defense basically had their way with this offensive line. They were able to get to Matt Stafford a lot in this game last year. This was also the breakout game for Tony Pollard, really, that kind of put him on the map. And a couple big things happened in this game. Of course, Stafford went down towards the end of this game. Cup, had a couple big plays, had the long touchdown, but that was really all the offense the Rams could muster in that game. But new challenges for them. They kind of look a little bit better. Cup is back. They, like I said, their offensive line is still not the best. Teams have been able to get to Stafford and pressure him a lot. But they have this young kid that just kind of seemingly came out of nowhere, Puka Nacua, who has been tearing up the NFL this year.
Spot. Definitely a bright spot.
He is pretty much, I believe he leads the league in yards. And catches and yards, something like that, as a rookie, or at least he leads all rookies. I know that for sure. He leads that by a country mile. He might be top 10 as far as the NFL all overall is concerned. Who knows? But
I'll see if I can bring it up. Go ahead.
But a tough task for the defense today in this game. But of course, Nick Rockchuck. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I knew.
What happened?
So Nick's over here doing Rockchuck.
Hey Nick, I called this game. This is my upset special for the weekend.
I was gonna say, Nick, Sam already beat you to it. He got to me like the minute the game ended. So
I said this is the game Oklahoma likes to lose. Right before the Oklahoma State game, the game they're not supposed to lose, even though I thought Kansas.
Jeff Lebby called a terrible last couple drives there. And people would say what they want about the referees and the officiating. You can't let the refs beat you. You can't put yourself in a position to do that. Plus,
you're letting reel you into a college show.
It's supposed to be a Cowboy show. Damn it!
I know. Come on.
I know Nick doesn't want. I know Nick doesn't want to talk about the Cowboys. That's why he's trying to do this. Puka leads the league, I believe, in catches. So because he had, I think he had the most as a rookie in one game with like 15 or something, 15, 16, 17, something like that. He's been an incredible find there for the Rams, and he's going to be a tough guy to cover in this game.
He's actually in third in yards. A.J. Brown's ahead of him, and Tyreek Hill's ahead of him. So he's third in yards, total yards, yeah.
Yards, catches, he's probably the top for
catches,
sure.
He may be in the top. I have to look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This Rams offense, it can get dangerous. They don't have their running game anymore, although they're, Darrell Henderson's still running the ball, I guess, and whoever else they have back there, Royce Freeman is still running the ball kind of effectively. The problem is their offensive line going to be able to hold up against a solid pass rush?
Right. Yep.
So what do you think, Flo? What do you think of this matchup here as the Rams come into town?
At first I was thinking, well, maybe this will be a tight game. This could be a close game. Like I said, I think I talked about it last week, that I was hoping that the Rams would beat Pittsburgh and they wouldn't come in here desperate, because now they're a little more desperate a team. They lost, coming off a loss at, they're under 500. So I was hoping that they would have beaten Pittsburgh, but they lost to Pittsburgh in a close one. But coming off a bye, Dak, a home favorite, especially if he's a big home favorite. What is it, like 7 points, 6.5? So he's a pretty decently, it's not a blowout, but he's a home favorite. He's always done really well as a home favorite at home. And so I felt like this was going to be a game where kind of Dak gets right a little more. He did well in the last game. He definitely uses his legs more, like I hoped. So I'm hoping that's going to continue. But I think this will be a close game in the first half, and I feel like we're going to pull away in the third quarter, maybe late third quarter, maybe mid. We'll start to pull away and separate a little bit, and maybe a two-score game. And then we kind of just, we just kind of run the clock out and keep it around a two-score game, 10 to 14 points. And maybe they get some garbage points and make it look closer. But after the midway or late third quarter, we're gonna be in control of this game. That's my initial feelings right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there's one thing, and even Nick will tell you this about Mike McCarthy, even though he detests him with all his passion, McCarthy does well off.
That's his guy.
Could
be McCarthy. Super Bowl.
McCarthy does well off bye week. Off a bye week, his teams typically do well coming off a bye, and Dallas is no exception. Dallas has been great off the bye week in recent history.
Good home favorite. He plays well as a home favorite,
and the Cowboys always play well when they're home favorites, especially like around this pointage mark, or it's like 6-7 points. The Cowboys usually play well at home.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking initially. As far as just in general, I'm feeling it's going to be around a 10 to 14 point game late, and then who knows if they get some garbage points, but they make it look a little closer. But we may be up 3 scores at some point, and then they come back and make it back to 2 scores, and it kind of goes back and forth. But I feel like this is going to be. It's one of those games, where it looks close at the end, possibly, but you were pretty much, the game was over. We were in control for pretty much the most
closer than what it looked. Basically.
Exactly. That's what I feel it's going to be like. Towards the end, we may even pull Dak. I don't know if it'll be that much of a blowout, but we may even pull Dak.
I don't think Dak will get pulled. I think he's going to end up playing the entire game because they're gonna have a.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if we get up by 3 scores in the fourth quarter, I think that he may end up getting pulled, maybe mid to late fourth quarter, and then that's where
there's our
what's up, Tanner T.
We got Tanner, our leader, our new leader for Let's Talk Sports. Tanner, congrats, by the way. I know, like we said, this isn't a college show, but congrats to your Jayhawks. They were a better team.
Hey, I called it, Tanner. Look at my show. I don't know if you saw it. I said this was the game that Oklahoma was going to lose. So
Jeff Lebby got out coached in this game. Lance Leopold did a great job for Kansas today. So
yeah,
good game overall. But congrats to your Jayhawks, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I guess might as well say it.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
That'll be interesting.
Sorry.
Kansas
Day.
is still lifetime contract now. Yeah. Lifetime contract. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, great game call. But
my head and my gut were telling me this was the game Oklahoma was going to lose.
I had the feeling.
I
had the feeling. I was hoping that it wasn't going to happen. I had the feeling because they do play Bedlam next week. It's the last game before they move to the SEC.
Right.
I had a feeling the letdown was coming, and sure enough,
and Kansas
they couldn't. They only had 7 passes up until like midway through the third quarter, and while the running game, like I said, they played good. It wasn't enough for them.
You're like the Godfather, Alan. You try to get out of this college talk, and they keep pulling you back in.
They pulled me back in.
They pull you back in. This is Cowboys talk. Let's go.
And where did it lead you? Right back to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Yeah. No more college talk. Let's go.
Speaking of Cowboys, how about them Cowboys?
How about them
Cowboys? It'll be a tough matchup though against this Rams team. I think their offense, if they get going, it could give us some fits. I think there are some players on defense that stepped up in our last game that could become staples. DeRon Bland has kind of settled down after a couple weeks. He's going to have a very, very tough assignment. I'm assuming they're going to put him on Puka this week, either Puka or Cooper Kupp. Either way, you're not getting a good draw. I think Kupp might actually be the better draw for him for DeRon Bland in this game, because I think with their size and Bland can kind of match Kupp speed a little bit. Get the tall, lankier corner in Gilmore and put him on the tall, lankier receiver on Puka.
And I think his experience will help against Puka. Gilmore's got a lot more. He's a solid veteran, and I think that you're going to need the athleticism against Kupp. And I think Gilmore can use kind of his savvy to help contain Puka a little bit. I mean, one of them may end up still having a good game, but I think that's a good call to have Gilmore on Puka. Yep.
So going into this game, let's start with the defense first. Who is the player that you're spotlighting on the defense that you think needs to have a good game?
I'm going to say Micah again. I think Micah, he's got his little podcast that he's been talking a lot, and I don't know if you've seen any of it, Alan, but he talks a lot, and he did have that big sack at the end of the last game, but I felt like he hasn't quite had that breakout game, and he needs one of those kind of games, a game where he's just disruptive, maybe even if maybe has a couple of sacks and maybe even a fumble or an interception. He causes a fumble or an interception, something like that. He needs to have one of those breakout games. He hasn't really had one this year where he's kind of taken over the game per se. I mean, he's had a couple of good games, but I feel like he needs to have one of those games where, this is a Micah Parsons game where he kind of takes over, maybe even causes a couple of turnovers and then has maybe 2 or 3 sacks at some point, and it's just wrecking that line and just putting all kinds of pressure and getting, and maybe even helping other guys get a sack or something like that because of they're paying so much attention to him. So this to me needs to be one of those Micah Parsons games where he just kind of takes over and shows some dominance. I feel like remember early on he was dinged up, and I think it was the second game. I remember he was dinged up, and I don't feel like he's been dinged up ever since. And I feel that extra week off will help him, and this may be a game where Micah kind of takes over, hopefully, on that defense.
I think the defensive line in general is going to be key today. Like I said before, the Rams offensive line has not done a good job of blocking for Matthew Stafford.
Right.
Again, Micah is probably going to be the more focal point because he is the leader of this defense. He has to make the biggest impact. And you notice after the sack, the play after the sack was the interception. So he definitely had an effect in
he was rushing it. Yeah, and I feel like maybe Marquise Bell has another good kind of standout game, because of Micah, that the pressure that Micah is going to cause and some of the disruptions, and he may get an interception or get a couple of big plays, in that linebacker spot in the middle. He kind of shined it that last time, and he shined on a few plays, and I feel like he may be kind of that secondary guy who kind of has a good game on the defense, based on how Micah plays. Yeah.
I think another guy to keep an eye on is Donovan Wilson. With the bye week,
Okay.
like you said, he's coming off the injury earlier this year. Um, with the bye week now, it's another week to get healthy. I think you'll see more of what Donovan Wilson was last year
Right.
in the upcoming games. And I think with him kind of guarding the box there, it's going to kind of help with the run game a little bit. So
Yeah.
I think Donovan Wilson could have a big game in this one too.
Right. And I'm so glad that Marquise Bell has shined, ever since LVE has gone out, because I mean we were kind of like what are we going to do with LVE out? I mean we really didn't know Marquise Bell until he kind of took over in that area or kind of started playing linebacker, and so we were kind of like, man, what are we going to do without LVE? But he's come in there and filled in well and done well at the linebacker spot, and so that was definitely a bright spot for us in the defense, because I felt like, you had Overshawn went out early in the season, and then Diggs goes down, and then now you had LVE go down. So I was like, man, we're starting to get thin. But then Marquise Bell came in and shined.
Mm-hmm. It'll also be interesting to see how what role Rashaan Evans plays in this defense. This will be his first action since he got signed by the Cowboys. So it'll be interesting to see how Rashaan Evans is used by Dan Quinn in this defense.
Right. Yeah.
And they've had a week to prepare for it too. So
right. This is true. Yeah, the extra week may help as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a good call. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So offensively, Dak had a better game against the Chargers. Didn't make any mistakes. Like you said, he used his legs a lot more. He got the rushing touchdown to kind of kick things off. He moved around the pocket, had the big play to Pollard late in that game.
All his big plays were when he was moving around or running or rushing.
And it just seems like you get him out in space, that's when he's at his most dangerous. I get it. They want him to be much of a pocket passer. They want him to kind of do what Buffalo's trying to do with Josh Allen. But when Josh Allen, like most of these young quarterbacks, when you get them out in space and have them use their legs, that usually was when they have the most success. And we saw that with Dak. And for Dak to do that, for Dak to have a good game in this game, going up against a Rams secondary that – there's a lot of no-name guys on this secondary. There's some good talent. It's just nobody knows who these guys are. This is a paper-thin defense. Aside from Aaron Donald is really the only guy that scares you on this defense. If you get him blocked off, Dak should still have a really good day throwing the ball against this defense.
Right. Yeah. I believe so too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you want me to bounce off that or you had a question.
I mean, you could bounce off that if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just hope that Brandon Cooks also begins to gel more, and having another week. We hadn't finally had a Brandon Cooks sighting. Take him off the milk carton. He's actually on the team still, but it just seemed like he just couldn't get that connection. He had a few drops during the season as well. Up to that point, up to the last game. So I feel like hopefully Brandon Cooks continues to get incorporated into the game to take some of that pressure off CD, because, if CD's the only guy, that's a threat, then that kind of takes him away, and you don't really have that other threat on the other side. And so hopefully Brandon Cooks, and also I guess Michael Gallup needs to shine a little bit as well. I don't know if that's what I'm hoping this extra week, those two guys behind CD, Brandon Cooks and Gallup, finally, become solidified 2 and 3 receivers, number 2 and 3 guys, and really help out CD, help out Dak, and become more threats in this offense. I feel like both Cooks and Gallup have had a few drops here and there. And then they've had a few that they could have caught, Dak. Sometimes Dak will throw it behind you and he'll be off a little bit, but some of those balls are still catchable. And I feel like hopefully those guys have been able to kind of solidify themselves in this offense after a week off and getting another, maybe getting healthy. Maybe they were dinged up a little, you never know. Everybody's kind of dinged up at this point in the season, has some kind of aches and pains. And so I'm hoping that Brandon Cooks continues to shine this. And then also maybe Michael Gallup has a couple of big plays in this game. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, and of course, you want to get the ball, kind of like what they did with the Chargers. You want to get the ball to 88 early and often. CeeDee Lamb has to be involved early and often.
Right.
But another key thing that I think has to happen, and he's going to be my spotlight player for this game offensively, is Tony Pollard. You've got a week to kind of figure out what you're going to do with the run game, how you're going to get Pollard, more not just more touches, but get him out in space, get him going, get him in his next gear. You saw that in the Charger game, you get him out in space, whether it's a screening or whatnot, and he's able to go out and make a big play with a couple of missed tackles. So I think with McCarthy coming off the bye week, you got to be able to run the ball effectively. And I think Pollard, he had a big game against the Rams last year. This could be his big game this year against the Rams here at home.
That's true. And maybe we get to see who is that, because they haven't really come up with who's that guy, the second guy behind Pollard. Rico has done a little bit back there. We haven't really seen a lot of Deuce Vaughn. Lupke has done a little bit. I'm surprised they haven't used him more. I felt like he was maybe this week will help get him more involved, because I felt like he was good coming off, maybe going out in the flat and catching a few passes, maybe getting some runs up the middle or something like that. So I don't know if they're just trying to get Rico involved because he was kind of their second guy, and they don't want to give this rookie too many carries. But I feel like Hunter, maybe Deuce Vaughn, one of those two guys needs to be kind of have a breakout game where they have a couple of big plays. I don't care if it's Hunter or if it's Deuce, but one of those two guys got to have one or two big plays during the game. Where it be like I said, a pass out in the flat, or whether it be a run up the middle or something. I want to see one of those two guys have a couple of big plays to solidify that run game. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the run game has really been kind of off. It hasn't been what we thought it was coming into the season. Pollard being the number one guy. I just feel like the run game has kind of struggled to really get established. And Dak needs a strong run game. We know that throughout his career. He hasn't really had that so far this season.
Well, also the offensive line is fully healthy for the first time in a while. So
that's true.
And you're going to get these guys being at full strength with a week of rest as well. So it's going to help these guys out a lot. That's why I think the running game could be huge in this game, and you could see Pollard have a big game.
Right. That's true. That's good.
So speaking of run game, there's been a lot of talk of maybe the Cowboys make a move here at the trade deadline. I know a lot of people have said Derrick Henry, but it looks like from what I've heard today that the Titans have told him that they're not going to trade him off. They're going to keep him on roster. Okay. So that one might be out. Maybe Dalvin Cook, but again, do you really want an aging Dalvin Cook there in the backfield? There's a lot of questions as to who if they do make a trade, who might it be with? I don't know. There's not really much you could make as far as a trade, though. I keep hearing, and there's a lot of talk of maybe now that the Broncos have said that he's available, maybe they go get Pat Surtain. Maybe they go get the corner that they wanted to get in the draft and couldn't get because the Broncos did pick ahead of him and got him before they did.
Right.
But that would if Jerry makes one big move in the trade deadline, a lot of people have said running back. I think if they do make a big move, I think they try to go get Pat Surtain.
I mean, that would be great. I mean, anything that would help, some of where we've been struggling, right?
And how good would that be? You move Pat to the outside, you put Bland back in the slot where he excels at. I mean, even if you're not keeping Gilmore next year, you have Pat Surtain and Trayvon Diggs.
Right.
You have the Alabama tandem. Holy cow.
Yeah. and plus you definitely have your future there, because Stephon Gilmore is, he's not your future for the, other than maybe next year. He's getting up there in age, so he's going to start to see some decline. You may have to move him inside, maybe have him play in the nickel, and if you're going to keep him, because he is getting older, and the older you get, and as a cornerback, you got to. That's the first thing to go. People who need their speed, need their legs. that's usually the first thing to go. As a football player, is your legs. You slow down. You're not quite as fast. You don't quite have the acceleration, and so. That'd be great to get Surtain and maybe solidify your future at both sides of at both corners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be great with me.
I mean, yeah, that's why I think they make the move. Is if Jerry does end up making the move, is to solidify their future at cornerback. So it definitely would help out their secondary.
Yeah.
But really, that's the only move I could see them making. Other than that, I really don't see Jerry making a move. I don't think there's a good enough running back that you can go get that could help complement Tony Pollard better than what they have in Rico Dowdle. Although, like you said, Dowdle hasn't really done much with his opportunity, and they haven't used Deuce Vaughn a lot. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, though.
Now that there is kind of maybe on the ancillary, kind of maybe Deontay Foreman from the Bears. I think he might be available in some kind of trade, and he's a kind of a bigger back. I mean, he's basically like Rico Dowdle. He's not huge, but that could be another guy. Maybe you go out and just bring him in for a cup of coffee and see what you can do. I don't know if, like I said, it could be the line and maybe that's what's kind of hurt our running game. It could be that just the tandem of Rico and Pollard is just not the right tandem. We don't really know at this point because of the injuries. So this might be a good, test for the run game. You have your line is fairly healthy now, and then you'll see was it the line or was it just these guys are not the right combination as a 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got Daniel chiming in here. What's up, Daniel?
What's up, Daniel?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. There'll be some interesting moves that they make. But yeah, this game should be pretty fun to go on. It's going to be a tough one because really they gotta keep their focus. That's another big thing because like my Sooners did today, they overlooked Kansas a little bit in this game. Although, like I said, I admit Kansas outplayed us in this game. Mainly, and we had Can there for a second. I don't know where he went. But mainly it was also because they probably are looking to head to Bedlam. But at the same time, the Cowboys likewise cannot overlook this Rams team because next week they go to the Link, and it's a matchup with Philadelphia, which is a huge matchup with the Eagles early on here. So, or about the halfway point of the season, they got the Eagles on Sunday Night Football next week. So, there's the man himself, Mr. Canteen.
Fellas.
What's up, Canteen?
Hey, I apologize for my tardiness. I was caught up in the midst of Georgia Bulldogs killing Florida right now, but I'm here. So
that's okay. The show is kind of sort of turned into a college show because
there's
been a lot of talk about my team blowing it against Kansas today. So
I called that, Canteen. Remember, I called this game. I said
Flo called this game on our show, man. Hey, you guys.
Jeff Lebby. That's all I gotta say.
Here's what I'm gonna say, Alan. Here's what I'm gonna say, man. I don't foresee anybody beating Georgia right now. I don't foresee anybody beating Georgia.
Missouri.
What?
Frisky, Missouri. I'm telling you, that's your trap game right there.
Come on, bro.
Missouri's frisky.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm still mulling it over.
You got it, but Missouri gave them fits last year.
Yeah, I'm still mulling it over, but that might be the trap game for you guys.
Georgia got Missouri, Ole Miss,
and Missouri,
Tennessee,
or Ole Miss,
and
one of those two.
Georgia State.
I'm not sure which one, but Ole Miss or Missouri might be the game that you guys kind of might. You might lose one, but you'll still be in because you're going to win the SEC. I still feel like you're with that one win. You're going to
say it again, Flo. Will you say it one more time?
I said you're still going to win the SEC either way. So. Even if you lose one of those,
you know it.
So, but it'll be one of those hiccups, where you're a little ticked off about losing it. But
man,
I haven't decided yet. You guys might still win those games.
And it was kind of like when I was talking about that game. I was kind of, also referencing Dallas playing the Rams here this week. That you can't overlook this Rams team because, like I was telling Flo, next week they go to the Link. So. You can't overlook the Rams. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm scared for Dallas tomorrow, man. I'm scared. I'm scared to play a Rams team off a bye. I mean, I've sat here all week and listened to all the commentators talk about Dallas. I think Dallas is a great team. I think we're gonna do great, man. But I'm telling you, if our biggest problem is if Jerry Jones just get out of the way, man. Jerry Jones talking, and so for us, the trade deadline's coming up. Trade deadline's coming up. You know who I want? I want Derrick Henry. I want Derrick Henry to be able to supplement for a guy like Tony Pollard.
I think they already said. Alan talked about it earlier, Canteen.
That's what I want.
They already said the Titans aren't giving him up. The Titans already said that.
Yeah, the Titans. Supposedly, the Titans have told Derrick Henry that they're not giving him up. I said Pat Surtain because I think that would be a big bolster to our defense.
That would be big.
He would basically be Diggs, but better, a little bit better.
What about Devontae Adams?
I could see that maybe.
He can supplement. He can supplement CD Lamb. Another threat.
And he somewhat knows McCarthy's system, so
correct.
Yeah,
for sure.
That could be.
Yeah, I mean, but you're talking about how Devontae Adams would be big. That'd be bigger than Derrick Henry to get him over there. So that would be a big either him or Patrick Surtain. I think those are the big moves. If you're going to make a big splash, Surtain or Adams would be the biggest splashes. And I don't know. I mean, Jerry's, maybe he'll do it. Maybe he can work it.
I mean, Jerry said that he doesn't think that they'll make a move, but he said this in the past, and then they'll be like, "Oh, look, the Cowboys made a big trade."
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, even the Trey Lance kind of trade threw everybody off. No one was really looking for that one, and then all of a sudden we trade for Trey Lance. One of those things. So hopefully it comes out like that. We'll see what happens.
So we talked about this earlier, Ken. Who's your player to watch on defense this week?
God, man, I mean, our defense, man. Whew. I'm gonna say a crazy name. Y'all probably gonna laugh at me, man. Y'all probably gonna laugh at me if I say this name right here. But I think, hold on, I'm about to pull our data this week. Hold on, let me pull up some stats, man, because I don't want y'all to think I'm crazy when I pull up the stats. Our defense.
Who's your key guy? He needs to have a big game. I said Micah Parsons, but I mean that was just me. I think he needs to have a Micah Parsons breakout game.
It depends on how the Rams manipulate how they run their offense, man. They're gonna throw the ball, they're gonna run the ball, they're gonna do like short passes, deep passes, bootleg. It to me it depends on the offense of the Rams. I'm gonna go with Gilmore, man. Stephon Gilmore, man. Yeah.
Okay.
I think a guy like Gilmore, man, they got to step up to the plate. Now, the only thing I'm afraid of, man, like I said, as I said earlier, man, it's tough beating a team off the bye, man. I was just sitting here thinking about, when I came back, I was sitting here thinking about the game with the 49ers and the Bengals. 49ers got Sam Darnold playing.
Right.
It's going to be hard. It's hard to me. It's hard to beat. If a team loses off of a bye, that's something bad. You had ample time to rest, nurse your wounds, regroup, and really think about your opponent.
This is like I said earlier. McCarthy has done well off the bye in past history. So
and I was saying that Dak, as a home favorite, Dak usually plays pretty well.
Now for the Cowboys, I'm gonna say this right here. I think that the Commanders are gonna put up a game against the Eagles tomorrow. That'll give us a little breathing room.
Okay. You think they lose that game?
I think the Commanders beat them close. Close.
That could be.
Close.
I mean,
I'm telling you, it's the division games, man.
Well, yeah.
I think they lose a close division game.
Who knows? Because I mean, Howell's had a down game, I think, last game. So he's been up.
Howell's been down the last couple of weeks, but like Ken said, it's an NFC East game. Eagles Commanders has always been a rough game to predict because you think, the Eagles are going to go in there and smoke them, and then Washington beats them by 20. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So for me, tomorrow's going to be interesting football, man, because I mean, you got us with the Rams, you got the Vikings, Packers. I mean, you got a lot of top games that
to be fair, To be fair, Canteen, that would be good for us because I think they would come back and probably beat us at home the following week. And I'm hoping that we split. I'm thinking we're going to split with the Eagles, and I want to win that
Here's
whole
what's gonna
game
happen, Flo.
that
Listen,
me and you were going to be at that home game in Dallas.
Listen.
Wait.
Listen. I would much rather win tomorrow or lose tomorrow. I would rather win tomorrow. Cowboys edge out the Rams tomorrow. Yeah. We lose at Lincoln Financial, but we pound the Eagles when we go to
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I project.
That's what I'm hoping.
Listen, man, here's our only problem.
Plus, getting that win at home would give us momentum for the last half of
to keep moving.
The last half of the year when you got to go to Buffalo, to Miami, and then have Detroit come in the building.
December is when you need to be playing better, right? That's when you need to be winning and playing better ball.
Buffalo is not a top tier team to me. Buffalo's not top tier. When me and
I said they weren't going to make the playoffs.
Buffalo barely beat.
I said the Super Bowl window's closed.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If the pass that what's his name? Mayfield threw that last pass at the end of the game.
Man,
if there had been a miracle, they would have beat Buffalo. I have no faith.
It was close.
I have no faith in Buffalo.
If Godwin would have turned around like a couple seconds sooner, he might have caught that ball.
He might have.
If he didn't, like maybe a second and a half sooner, if he'd have turned around, he probably would have caught that ball. Yep.
So talking about December games, how about tomorrow? Kansas City, Denver, 29 degrees and 6 to 12 inches of snow.
Wow.
How crazy is that for an October winter?
It's in Denver,
October
right?
Snow. Yeah, it's in Denver.
An
October snow game in Denver. So,
but historically, Patrick Mahomes has been a great snow guy. So we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. He's been a really good snow. When he plays in the snow, he does really well. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I can't go with the underdog on that game. I can't do that, man.
Yeah, hot take Jake would love to win that game.
Wouldn't he though?
Oh man, that's the game. That's like the key game for him. If he can win this game. Yeah.
If we could just beat Kansas City, it'll turn everything around.
Right.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, Pat plays well in the snow, so
I don't think he'll win this game. I mean,
he'll throw the ball. He'll throw the ball 20 times to Kelsey, and then just to appease the Swifties.
The snow might make it closer just because there's snow. You never know that what happens in the snow. People fumble the ball and do stuff like that. And
apparently, she's gonna be with Travis tonight in Stillwater when the Cowboys host the Bearcats.
No way.
Kelsey's a Bearcat, so
right.
She might be in town for that game.
She's gonna be in town for the Bearcat game. Oh, wow.
Bearcats, Oklahoma State.
They're playing.
I mean that's a nice stadium they got in Stillwater, but
they're playing it in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's in Oklahoma State, but yeah, that's a really nice stadium. So I wouldn't not expect that.
That would be interesting.
That's what I keep hearing is that supposedly they're going to the Cincinnati Oklahoma State game tonight.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. That would be something.
Yeah.
But
get back to the Cowboys.
But then again, if it's snowing in Denver tomorrow, that they're going to have to be in Denver for that game.
That's true. Yeah.
But
you don't want to get snowed out.
But yeah, back to the Cowboys. Ken, you gave us your defense player. Who's your offensive player that you feel has to have a big game tomorrow?
Man,
I said Tony Pollard.
Yeah,
I said. You know what? I will caveat on what you said. I mean, for us, man, our running game is suspect, man. Our running game is suspect.
Yeah,
and we don't have any like powerhouse running backs, and that's why I wanted Dallas to get Derrick Henry. I think he would have been a great plus
to agree.
Supplement a guy like Pollard. Man, Pollard good. But sometimes I'm like, what the hell are you calling McCarthy? What's going through your mind? Huh? What are you thinking about?
Right. and Alan brought up a good point that the line's been banged up, so they're finally getting healthy. So that could have been part of the run problems is that the line hasn't been healthy.
I think Tony Pollard got to show up tomorrow, man.
We'll see. Yeah, I think the line being healthy could finally show us. Okay, was it a line problem or was it a Tony Pollard Rico Dowdle problem? Yeah,
but I think, man, our game tomorrow And that 4:00 game between San Fran and the Bengals, those are going to be the top games. Everybody wants to see what Dallas is talking about.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
Dallas
definitely.
can beat a team after
That
a
Bengals
bye,
49 game is gonna be big for both teams.
That 4:00 game.
It'd be a lot better. It'd be a lot better than that Sunday night game, the Bears Chargers.
Bears and the Chargers, man. I ain't even watching it.
I
Do they have baseball tomorrow? They don't even have
game.
baseball tomorrow night. Because they playing tonight.
We're probably gonna do. We're gonna probably do the post game show early because that game's gonna be unwatchable.
Isn't the Monday night game bad too?
Monday night game, I believe, is Vegas and Detroit. Detroit's probably going to smoke them.
And the Raiders, man.
Detroit's at home too, so Detroit's probably going to smoke.
Raiders
them.
are frisky. I don't know. They might make.
And the Lions are coming off that loss to Baltimore last week, so they're going to be playing pissed.
Licking their wounds, so the Lions are still licking their wounds. So that might be closer than you think. I think that might be closer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
they won't have Montgomery, but
right.
Montgomery's hurt, right? Yeah,
Montgomery's hurt.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Ken. I think Tony Pollard has to have a big game. This was his breakout game last year against the Rams in LA. So I think this is going to be his time to shine if the Cowboys have, Flo said double-digit win, probably a 2-score game. If they do that, it's going to be because Tony Pollard has a big game.
The game tomorrow, I think it's going to be a close game.
I think so too.
I think it'd be close until the third quarter, midway, late third quarter. I think we start to pull away.
I think they're going to try to shut down Cooper Kupp, so that the Puka, I think, is going to have a big game tomorrow.
It's possible. It seems Cooper's still working his way in, though. I mean, he's back, but he didn't seem like he was all the way back. Like he was in kind of in football shape yet, because he missed most of the, he's only been back for one game. So maybe he looks better this game, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So give us our official. We'll get our official predictions. Flo, I'll start with you. Well, what's your score for this game?
Oh man,
put your hands together, Flo.
I don't know.
Hey man, you gotta stop that.
I'm just playing. I'm not gonna play it. Okay, so this is the last time the one time I did say something about when we lost that game against the Niners. I felt bad, and I'd like to go. I'm a head, heart, gut guy, and my heart's kind of out of this one because my heart's right now is saying that we're gonna win. But my head and my gut's telling me that we're gonna pull away in this game. I don't know if it's early, mid third quarter or late. We're gonna pull away in this game, and we might even be up 3 scores at some point in this game.
Oh man,
and we may even pull Dak out early. That's the kind of game I'm thinking. And then the Rams kind of make it close, make it look better than it really is, make it look a little closer than it was. So I like. I'm not gonna lie. I like a 34 to 24 game. 34-24 game. Where it ends up being 10 points, but we were pretty much we were up by 2 or 3 scores before, in the fourth quarter at some point. So I'm gonna go 34-24. 34-24. It gets close late because there's garbage time and Cooper's probably in there, in the mid to late fourth quarter. We're not even trying anymore, really. We're just kind of, trying to end the game and run some time, run some clock. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Ken?
I'm always afraid of a team after a bye week. But
we were on a bye week, so it should be good.
I mean, both teams should be great. We're at home, man.
And the Rams are coming off the loss at home last week.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I don't like is that they're kind of desperate.
And that's the thing. Who's the hungriest team? I mean, we're 4-2. They're 3-4. They need to win more than we do. But I'm gonna say this right here. I think we'll win by at least 3. Be a close game. Dallas wins by 3.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna go 24-27. Dallas wins by 3 at the end.
Wow, 24-27. Wow.
24-27. Dallas.
I don't like that game, man. That's gonna be too much. It'd be too hard on my heart, man.
Yeah.
I think Me personally, I think at the very least it's a touchdown game. I think the Rams will do enough to score some points, but I think at the end our defense. I think Micah has a big game. They get to Stafford a lot in this game. I'm going to say 27-20. I think the Cowboys get a score on defense, and that ends up being the difference in this game. So I'll say 27-20. Dallas gets the win, gets momentum going into the Link next Sunday night. So
okay.
And I kind of agree with you, Ken. I think Washington's going to give Philly all they can handle.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think Philly's
that's going to be a scrappy game, man. I think the Commanders edge them out by a field goal too, man.
Okay. I think the Eagles pull it out. I think the Eagles are just too much. In the end, they're going to do that. They're just going to go down the field and either kick a field goal or punch it in, and they're going to win that game late. I think it'll be a scrappy game, but they'll end up. I think Philly wins that game late in a close one. Yeah. We'll see what happens, though. If Philly loses, then I think we lose against Philly for sure, because I think Philly coming off a loss, they're going to want to win that next game. And
yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping Philly loses, and then my scenario kind of lines up. We lose to Philly because, they're coming off a loss, and then we come back in December and we win our home game going into December and going down the stretch, man. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see, man.
Yeah, my dream scenario would be win both those games, but I don't think we'll beat Philly twice. I think we're going to lose one. We're going to lose one of them. So.
What is it? What is it after that? It's the Giants. I know they got Washington on Thanksgiving.
You mean for us or what?
Yeah, I think it's like the Giants.
I'm about to pull it up for you right now. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I got it right here too.
Cowboys got.
You got Philly, Giants, Carolina. So those next two games should be fairly easy. And then we got Washington,
win,
Seattle,
win.
And then Philly comes to town,
win.
And then it gets tough in December. Buffalo, Miami, Detroit.
We should, if we lose to Buffalo or Miami, we should be slapped.
Well, that'll be a key game early.
We should. I would much rather beat Miami. I would rather beat the Bills and lose to the Dolphins.
Okay.
But we got to go on the road for 2 games. Then we got the Lions.
It'll be interesting to see what Miami does next week in Germany against Kansas City.
Right.
That'll tell a lot about what the Dolphins are this year.
And by that time, Miami might be fighting for a playoff spot if Miami continues down the path that they're on.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Buffalo might be fighting for a playoff spot when we go to them.
Yeah, this is true too. So they may be desperate at that point, but I think winning that game early in December against Philly, I think that sets the month off into a positive for us, and we'll probably win those. Let's say Buffalo, Miami, Detroit. We'll probably win 2 out of those 3 games, and then we'll beat Washington hopefully at the end of the season. So yeah, we'll probably win if we'll beat Philly, and then in December, we'll be 2 and 3.
It's gonna be
3 out of 4 games
with the Lions, Dolphins.
Yeah,
the Bills, Lions, Dolphins. That's gonna be a tough stretch.
Yeah,
and then Washington at the end too.
Yeah, Washington.
If we win 2 out of those 3, I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident in us if we win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but if
we definitely got to win that
in the NFC East,
no matter what happens against Philly, we got to win that game in Philly.
Mm-hmm. If we win at home, if we beat Philly at home and win 2 of those last 3 games, I think we can win the division.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And that Washington game may be for the division. I mean, depending on if Washington beats Philly, like you're saying, that might be key for us to beat Washington late. For it could be a divisional type of could have divisional ramifications. And
so for a team like us, it sucks, man, because at the end of the season we got to play the Commanders on the road at the Commanders, and then we roll right into like the wild card and all that. So
and the Commanders
just win out. If we could just win out.
And the Commanders were like nothing less than to knock us out of first place, if that's what that game means.
Right.
If that game is, hey, either we win the division or lose, Washington will play that game tough just to beat us and knock us out of first place.
Yeah,
they'd rather Philly have it than we have it. I mean, to be honest, but they don't like Philly either. But if it's between having Dallas be first place or Philly, they'd rather have Philly.
Yeah,
because they're not going to be in for it. I mean, they might be. To be honest, they may be fighting for a playoff spot at that point too. So
yeah.
It just depends how they do, coming down the stretch for the Commanders.
Well, Ken, I know this isn't your team, and I know this is a football show, but after what we saw last night in Game 1, how are you feeling about this Rangers Diamondback series right now?
I told Flo with the Rangers, man. I've been rolling with the Rangers. After the Braves got knocked off, the Phillies got knocked off. It's like it ain't no World Series, man. It's like last night I fell asleep watching the Rangers play. It's not no baseball, man. I mean, it would have been nice to have had.
I think a better storyline would have been Phillies and the Rangers.
Man. I mean, you got two West Coast teams. It ain't major to me with Arizona because I mean they're not. Phillies had made it, I would have been pulling with the Phillies. To be honest.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think after last night, I said Texas in 5 at the very least.
I said 6. Yeah. Texas in 6.
For sure, the Phillies would have been a better World Series. I think better storyline.
Although give credit to Arizona, they did have a good offense there early.
They did for sure. I'm just saying. I mean, as far as storylines, baseball, the Phillies would have been.
The Rangers kind of shut them down at the end of that game, though. So.
Yeah,
and then you had
homer by Garcia.
Walk-off homer by Garcia.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
I felt that one coming too. I was like, man, he's gonna hit one, man. He's gonna hit one out of the park right here. I just feel it. And he knocked it out, man.
Out of the park, man.
I was like, I saw it. I was like, go. And
he is on fire, and there's a big reason why I think
Texas
he is.
Hopefully it keeps going, and I wouldn't mind him winning MVP again.
But it'll be the first time one of my teams has ever won a title. That would be nice.
Yeah, if it means winning a title, I'll take it. I'll let him have the MVP again. Mm-hmm. But like you said,
but yeah, and we of course all three of us picked the Cowboys for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Ken and I both have close games. Flo, you have it at a 10-point advantage. It could go either way. If the defense plays great, like they did last year against the Rams, it could be a 2-3 score game as well. So
remember when I told you about that Patriot game that we're going to blow those boys out? I have kind of that feeling right now, like I did with that Patriots game. Mm-hmm. And you guys were kind of like, it's going to be close. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be one of those games.
On paper, it should be close, but I think if the defense plays up to their standard, they're gonna win this game handily. Yeah. So
I think so too, and I like Kansas scenario. Look, Washington wins. We win, and then Philly comes in licking their wounds, and they beat us at home. And then,
although both of us would be 5, and they would be 6-2, we would be 5-2 going into that game next week if that were to happen. So
yeah, that'd be a big game. It's gonna be a good game either way. Yeah, it would be huge if they lose to Washington for sure.
Mm-hmm. And Nick Sirianni is going to want to stick it to Dallas anyway because that's just who he is.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see. It'll be good. Next week's game is going to be good. So I like this one.
Just don't overlook it tomorrow. Just don't overlook.
I don't think they overlook it. Yeah, I don't think they overlook it. I think they want to play well coming off a bye, and they want to feel good about themselves going into Philly. Even if we lose that game, they want to feel good. As long as we play Philly good and it's a close game, I'm okay with losing that game because I think we're going to win at home. So that's what I'm saying. As long as we play Philly well, it's a good, hard-fought game. I'm okay with losing to Philly, but I'm okay with winning too. I'm not going to say it. But, yeah, I'm okay losing that game as long as we play well. So,
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, it's been an awesome show as always.
Sorry I came late, guys, but
no worries.
No worries.
Hey, just lean forward a little bit.
My boy.
Right. As I was saying, I love doing this show with you guys every Saturday now. Of course, Ken's got his Bulldogs, riding his Bulldog train, looking for a 3-peat this year.
Hey, Flo, you already know.
That's my second team. Georgia's my second team now.
There's nobody that can beat Georgia. Give me one team that can beat Georgia.
Missouri and Ole Miss, one of them is going to beat them. I'm leaning that way. But you still win the SEC, so it don't matter. It's just one of those things.
All right.
Or people are going to give you a hard time for losing to them, but you're going to end up winning the SEC anyway.
But for some reason, Missouri has just been an anomaly this year. So
like in the words of Flo, they've been frisky. They are a frisky football team.
Exactly. They've been frisky for
Yeah,
sure.
they've been playing frisky
So I'm leaning Ole Miss or Missouri, possibly upsetting you guys. I haven't made up my mind yet, though. But yeah, you guys are gonna lose one.
Yeah, it could be if it does happen in the regular season. It's one of those two teams. I don't think Tennessee has a good enough offense.
I think
keep
Tennessee's
up with
done.
Georgia.
Yeah, I think Tennessee's cooked.
Yeah, Georgia Tech has no shot. No shot.
I don't think so.
If they lose to Georgia Tech, that would be probably the worst loss.
If they lose Georgia Tech, if they lose Georgia Tech, Flo, I'll be on suicide watch. I will buy some clothes.
Somebody go get cans. Somebody go get cans, man.
Somebody go check on Canteen. Yeah, y'all can't lose that game. If y'all lose that game, y'all ain't. Oh man. When's the last time y'all lost to Georgia Tech? It's been a long time.
It's been quite a while.
It's been a while. Like it's been like
even without Brock Bowers today against Florida, they're still playing very well.
I think you got to go back to like Calvin Johnson days or something when they lost to Georgia Tech.
Demarius Thomas.
Maybe.
When Thomas was
It's been a while. It's been a while since y'all lost that game. Y'all play them every year, right? End of the year.
Mm-hmm. Every year. That's every year.
I bet it's been a minute. It's been at least 10 years, maybe longer. That's my guess.
I was gonna say next year you got to go to Austin, so that'll be fun.
Who does? Oh, they
Georgia's got to go to Austin to play Texas. So.
Oh, that'll be fun.
We got both Tennessee and Alabama coming into Norman next year. So.
Oh wow, they already put out the schedule.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Or at least conference schedule. Our worst game. Our two toughest games are going to be Bama coming in here and going to Baton Rouge to play LSU.
Well, good riddance to you guys anyway. Get out of here.
SEC, whatever. I don't care.
Go ahead, whatever.
I was trying to look it up, man. I don't know when the last time we lost Georgia Tech.
It's been a while. Look it up.
It's been a bit.
Look it up now. I'm about to check.
I thought you already checked. That's what you were doing. I was
looking it up now, man. Hold on. Georgia Tech.
Google
the last time we lost to Georgia Tech, man. Oh God, I'm trying to pull the record number. I can't pull it up, man. I don't know. I'm trying to pull it up, man.
There we go.
Hold on. Georgia Tech series. I'm about to look it up now. Hold on. 2021, 19 we beat them. 18 we beat them. 17.
1999. That's what it looks like. Back in Atlanta.
No, I'm about to get it right. Clean old-fashioned hate. Hold on. Series
1999 is what I got. So that's like 20 years. I mean, 23 years. The Yellow Jackets last one. That's what I got on Google.
Wait a minute, man. I'm
telling you, the last win in Atlanta.
99. Georgia Tech beat us 51-41.
Yeah,
they beat us in 2000.
The most recent one.
Last time they beat us was 2000, bro.
2000.
No. The recent one, 2016.
2016. Okay.
November 26, 2016.
They beat us by one. They beat us by one.
It was Kirby Smart's first year, and Georgia Tech beat them.
But after 2016, that's been what?
That's 7 years.
We ain't lost to him.
Yeah, 7 years, because that's how long Dak's been in the NFL. So
yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I figured it was 10 years, but yeah, 7 years. Okay.
We were smoking them every year, bro.
I don't see you guys losing to them, man.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's still trying to find their mouthpiece from last year. So
for sure.
All right, guys.
All right,
great show as always.
Right,
where can the people find you at? What you guys got coming up?
Hello.
All right, so me and Cantina are on the Bottom Line Sports on all your platforms, any platform, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We got about 1,363 members on the Facebook group. So we're usually up on Sundays. We do an NFL wrap-up show every Sunday around 6:35 Central, 7:35 Eastern. We do like an hour wrap-up of the NFL and just talk pure NFL on Sundays. And then Tuesdays we have a more of a show where we talk about baseball, basketball, football. We're a little more broad. Tuesday show is on 7 Central or 7 Eastern and 6 p.m. Central. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Yeah, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. We moved it to 7. It was a little accommodating for everybody. Yeah, so 7 Central on Tuesdays and 8 Eastern. And then tomorrow we have our NFL wrap-up show, and then we preview Sunday night, Monday Night Football.
Sunday night, man.
So 6:35 Central, 7:35 Eastern, and find us at the Bottom Line Sports. Yep. Let's go.
It'll be a trash week to preview this week, man.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be a hard week this week.
Yeah.
Well, of course, for me, you can find me all over Let's Talk Sports. We do this show every Saturday with my guys here, Flo and Cam from the Bottom Line Sports. It's at 6 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. We have our new college football show, which we started up last week. Okay. Myself, Big Mike from the Man Cave, it's Scott Cobe. We talk some college football for about an hour or so until the early games start. That's at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays. Okay. So definitely check that out. I'm going to be on the Rec Room Sports podcast. They're going to do their Hear Me Out show tonight. So definitely check that out. I'm also on I'm on a lot, actually. Sunday night post game with Johnny Cruz and Rob Logan. That'll probably go on earlier this week because, like Ken said, the Sunday night matchup is terrible. The Bears are trash. The Chargers are trash. It's going to be a rough game to watch. Tuesdays, baseball show with Scott and Jonathan. We're in the middle of the World Series. We might be at the final game of the series come Tuesday if the Rangers go up 3-0 heading into Game 4 on Tuesday. So
it'll go 5. I think it's go 5.
So minimum. It'll be in the middle at the very least in the middle of the World Series next time we go live on Tuesday. Okay. And then of course I do the NFC South roundtable. I moderate that, and I do the NFC East roundtable as the Cowboy guy going up against the man New Yorker himself, Mr. Crazy. Carlos Chavez, Jay from Rec Room, who's our Washington guy.
Hey, like I tell Cat, man, this feels like a part-time, full-time job I don't get paid for.
Right. I love doing it though, man. I don't even care if I don't get paid for it. Yeah. I love doing this. This is fun to me.
That's a lot of work. So,
and as I said this morning, shout out to the man who made all of this possible for all of us, the one and only Mr. Dan Harris, who, unfortunately, about a few weeks ago we lost, and I know he's smiling down on us right now because we're continuing to make this great community thrive. Shout outs to Tanner, who was in the comments and it was a big part of keeping this thing going. Nick Botkins as well, who was also in the comments earlier. You could check them out on the Let's Talk Sports show 3 days a week, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. They'll be on tomorrow morning. So definitely go check them out as well. Check out everybody here on Let's Talk Sports. There's something here for everybody. Every sport is covered.
Every team is covered.
Every team is pretty much covered. I know right. Scott said he's going to probably do a DFS golf show starting in April. Okay. So we'll have golf covered. We might have wrestling covered at some point. We finally have a dedicated college football show now on Saturdays. So
okay. Hey, I'll do a tennis show if anybody's up for it.
I mean, float through tennis. I mean,
I'll do tennis.
Why not?
Be a big tennis guy.
Why not? We'll have every sport. I know there's some people that talk Premier League, Champions League, all that good stuff. We have everything covered. So definitely check it out. Like, comment, subscribe, and whatnot. But gentlemen, any last words before we end off?
Cowboys in the coast. Let's go. DC for life. Let's go, Cowboys.
Let's go! How about them Cowboys?
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your night.
All right,
we'll see you next week. Take care.
Let's go.